So Donald Trump is continuing his attacks against America as it looks like they're trying to burn down everything. There's a couple very disturbing things we have to talk about, and I'll show you guys what I mean. So first, Hegseth orders rare, urgent meeting of hundreds of generals and admirals. And people are asking, like, why do you need all of our top military people all in one place? Like, what are you planning? I think it's '07 to '10 officers. Again, like basically high level flag officers. And then also at the same time, you're calling all the military officers together. Trump's now going after former FBI director James Comey, right? They're going to try to charge him with making false statements, obstruction of justice, these kind of things. Chances are it's all bogus. I'll just be frank with you guys. The prior prosecutor's like, this is bogus. I'm resigning. I'm not going to do it. And then so then Trump brings in some new, loyalist young kid with no experience to come and try to prosecute Comey. And this is the best way to describe it. Bernie Sanders, and I'll show you his statement, says Trump's actions, threats, and tantrums are driven by one simple goal. He wants more power, more wealth, and more power for himself and his fellow oligarchs. Period. And if you ever have any questions of what Trump is up to, right? This really answers it. And I always say the same thing as well, is like Trump's mostly interested in just putting money in his own pocket. Now, the crazy thing about the Trump situation is if you look at their social media, and I'm just showing you guys their messaging every day, is they're insane. He's celebrating saving TikTok. These are actual tweets from the White House. President Trump just signed a huge deal. Executive order saves TikTok, right? That's what they're talking about. And it's like, as you just regular person sitting at home, are you sitting around wondering, oh, wow, who's going to own TikTok? I'm so concerned about that, right? Or they'll do this. They'll say, Q2 real GDP revised up 3.8%. Wow, fastest pace in nearly 2 years. And they act like that you're all rich all the time, right? And this flies counter to, what we talk about all the time, to where you basically have erosion of the middle class. People at the bottom are really, really suffering. And then Trump and all his billionaire buddies, or the oligarchs, if you want to say that, are doing great, right? They've never had it so good. And so this is where you know that Trump doesn't care about you. And you have to stress this over and over again, because there's a delusional group of people out there who actually think Trump cares about them. It's completely not true. And then they'll just put out like this kind of stuff as well. 57% of Americans approve of President Donald Trump. And at this point, I don't know why they don't just say 99, right? Hey, I got a new Trump poll put out by Trump people. Everyone likes this, right? It's basically a dictatorship at this point. And I try to make jokes and stuff when I can, because you got to laugh when you can. But I also want to make it sure that it's very, very serious, the stuff that they're pulling. And it's just okay. So this is a statement from someone in the military recently of why you call back all the generals and such. It says here, you don't call a GOFO, so maybe the general officer and flag officers, right, leading their people and global forces into an auditorium outside DC and not tell them what the topic or agenda is, right? So calling all of our flag officers to come meet, right, some photo op or whatever, and we don't know why. Also says here, are we taking every general and flag officer out of the Pacific right now? All of it is weird. Honestly, guys, I really don't know. If you want to take like the really dark turn on this stuff, is Trump planning to do some sort of martial law? Is he planning to do some sort of loyalty test among the flag officers? Honestly, you never know. And I'll also tell you the truth about this stuff. In Korea, where I live, we actually had a situation where President Yoon tried to do a martial law, and this is actually Korea has a history of this kind of stuff. The president before him, well, a couple decades before him, but did a similar type of stuff to where basically the government in Korea was militarily run. I made several videos on this topic. You can also find movies. It's called 1987. Please see it. The Day Will Come, or 12/12 the Day. They're about basically military coups, military control of the government, and you do not want this kind of stuff. And so, just on a surface level, when I see what Trump is up to, I just feel like, are you looking to do loyalty tests? Are you looking to do martial law? What's your plan? It says here again, as I mentioned before, '07 to '10. I guess there's about 800 generals and admirals that would meet this, this ranking. And so they're all going to be meeting. It says Marine Corps base in Virginia. So that's what's going on with that. Regarding the prosecution of Comey, Pam Bondi, I'll just tell you what they say. Pam Bondi says, no one is above the law. Today's indictment reflects the Department of Justice commitment to holding those who abuse positions of power accountable for misleading the American people. We will follow the facts in this case. We'll see. And then you got Patel. Patel says, today your FBI took another step in promising its full accountability for far too long, blah, 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 blah. No one is above the law. Okay, I don't want to read all of Patel's stuff. I'll just say this, guys, because, I always want to give you the fairest, evaluation of everything that's going on. All you have to do for any of these Trump people, look at their record, look at what people who really know them, what they have to say. And I'm just using the Patel one as an example. Just recently, Patel got really, really angry at everyone in the FBI, had this like 200-person, like a Zoom call sort of thing. People were saying he was swearing, calling everyone names, blah, blah, blah. That's the kind of person that he is. And even before he got into the FBI, many people inside are just like, this guy is incompetent. And it's not just Patel, it's all the Trump people. What they do is they skip over competent people, they skip over experienced people, because these people, like, experienced and competent people, don't want anything to do with Trump. And then they just pick a bunch of loyalists who are, bumbling fools and idiots. But man, I'll be frank with you guys, loyalists can be really, really dangerous. Even if they're bumbling fools, they can still be quite dangerous, because there are a few people in the Trump administration that aren't stupid, right? They're completely immoral. They're completely without character, but they're not stupid. That's a few of them. Most of the other ones are just frankly dumb. I'm just being frank with you guys. And you got a bunch of dumb people basically following orders, and it leads to not a good situation. And then you have the more clowny stuff that Trump does. This is all in one day. This is just today's news. U.S. to impose tariffs on heavy trucks, kitchen cabinets. So I guess we really don't want people to buy trucks and cabinets now. U.S. to impose 100% tariff on branded patented drugs unless firms build plants locally. So theoretically, Trump's saying, "Hey, we're going to build all of these, new plants in the USA." He's promising that all the time, but a lot of this stuff is just frankly nuts. Trump says here, there will therefore be no tariff on these pharmaceutical products if constructed has started. And then I guess the tariffs are also on kitchen cabinets, bathroom vanities, and associated products. And then you got your heavy trucks. So, I mean, how do you even talk about this stuff on a daily basis? And people often ask me, like, Chris, how do you stay calm? I'll just say this: we have a strong community to go through this stuff together, and I just want you to know that you're not alone. You're not crazy. When you look at a Trump poll and Trump says like 57% of people, like me. I mean, like, we all know it's a bunch of nonsense, right? Because you have to understand, don't just look at what Trump people say. Look at like the overall picture. This is also something that's going on. It says U.S. probing worry for evading solar tariff duties. The reason why I'm bringing this thing up is that, and I don't know the veracity. I don't know if this is true or not, that this company was evading tariffs. I have no idea. I just don't know. But what I'm saying, though, is that what Trump is doing, he's creating an environment of fear. That's what he's trying to do. So, put all these tariffs on and then effectively try to be able to fine companies whenever they want. Oh, you didn't follow my orders, or you didn't kiss the ring. I'm going to fine you and go after you. Same with any sort of, public officials, regardless of if there's any merit to the prosecutions or not. So that's the environment. And then what they want to do as well is they want to rewrite history and to control the narrative. So, for example, this is Pete Kasich just a few hours ago. And again, every day like this is just filled with nonsense. So I guess there was the massacre at Wounded Knee. They call it the Battle of Wounded Knee. And Haig said that, like, the people should keep their medals. And again, we're talking about a massacre. And this is during when the U.S. government has basically declared war on Native Americans. And I just want to talk about this stuff in all seriousness. Like, do not let these people rewrite history. And essentially, from the Trumper point of view, I'll just be as frank as possible. The Trump people only want to make the USA, or you could argue the world, but just suitable for a certain kind of person that looks a certain kind of way and has a certain kind of religion and speaks a certain language. Like, they really want to just go with this very small portion of USA and say, oh, we all have to be just like that. And that's what a lot of this MAGA movement is based on. I mean, being honest with you guys, a lot of it's based on racism, and I don't focus on that aspect, all day, every day, but it's deeply upsetting. I'll put it that way. And when I just wouldn't make it my, if I was president, my priority is not to be like, honoring people who attack Native Americans. I just wouldn't. Why would I make that a priority? And that's kind of who these people are. They're sick. I'll just leave it at that. Bernie Sanders, he made a big statement today, and something I talk about on the channel as well, where he's like, say, hey, why is Musk, Zuckerberg, and Ellison and Altman, like all these people, like, why are they so happy under Trump? And even Bernie is like, this is not going to make your life better, right? It's to create unbelievable fortunes for themselves and make themselves even more powerful than they already are. And then Bernie's talking about, which we talk about all the time on the channel. Bernie's saying the same stuff. Data centers that AI depends upon will require massive amounts of water and electricity, leading to huge energy bill increases and water shortages across the country. Right. So that's all that Trump brings to care about. He wants to put money in his pocket. He partners with his, oligarch friends, and they want to build all these data centers that are going to use your water and your power. And usually Barack Obama doesn't even say stuff, but he's been chiming a lot more lately because we're at a crisis point in the USA, frankly. You saw this yesterday where Trump wants to basically close down the government and fire everyone. That's their plan right now. Like this, put it together. Like they want to fire everyone in the government, then they want to bring all the military generals and admirals together all in one spot. Like what the heck is going on? This is deeply concerning, and I say the same stuff all the time. If you're working in the government now, if you're in the military now, do not follow an illegal order. I'm telling you the truth here. Do not follow illegal orders. What Trump is doing is completely like we do not want this, right? This is Barack Obama's statement here. Republicans can't win on their policies, so they're trying to dodge accountability by rewriting the rules. These lawmakers are going out of their way to silence the will of the people and deliberately undermine our democracy. And then you got this kind of stuff, which I always point to when in doubt, follow the money. This is from the Wall Street Journal. Unusual trading ahead of crypto treasury deals draws scrutiny from U.S. regulators. At least there's still some people in government who are watching this stuff. Trump basically wants to fire anyone who is, who's basically a cop in Wall Street. Basically, they want to fire all the cops, make the most simple way. He wants to fire regulators. The South Park even made a joke about this stuff recently with it, and you got to see the episode for yourself. But the basic gist of it is that they're all corrupt, right? Him and his family are all corrupt, and this is the world that we're in, where South Park tells the truth. It's so bizarre because I even told my wife yesterday, like, usually South Park's not like this political, but we're in a stage where we need to really talk about these things because this is serious, and you want to be on the right side of history. And people don't talk about this stuff enough because, like, well, why is Trump do all the crazy crap he does? Wants to tear down everything. It's all to put money in his pocket. So and that's why I point out these things in the Wall Street Journal where they're saying, hey, there's like unusual trading activity in crypto, which is again, it's just a big grift for them. So that's my thoughts on this stuff. Please be careful out there, and please share what's going on from your neck of the woods, because we do need to pay attention to this stuff, because there's a lot of people in our community that work in the government and are in the military. And again, do the right thing, guys, and do not follow illegal orders. That's my thoughts, and I'll catch you all in the next video.